So the odometer's on 163,375. Come up to the service sticker. Next service due 127,600. Right, so on our service sticker here, 127,600. It was probably, that's when it's due, which means it was serviced before that, probably 117,600. 117,600 to 163,375. Do the mathematics. 46,000 Ks. I'm no scientist, but I think that's a wee bit too long. Let's see what it looks like. She's a wee bit low slung, so I'm going to have to use the old Jack-O-Matic 200s, get it up a touch so we can change the oil. It actually runs pretty decent. So I haven't had an oil change in 46,000 Ks possibly. So I've got it a month or so back and I've just been driving it anyway, waiting on the filters to turn up. Yeah, we'll let it warm up. With twin sparks, we got 2, 4, 6, 8 spark plugs, of course. We got this curious this very strange ground strap that goes to the manifold to the strut tower. We've got our factory strut brace because it's a race car. Yeah, we'll get that good and warm and then we'll get the oil changed. It sounds alright. Alright, that should be nice and warm. It's an Alfa Romeo, so of course it uses something different for its sockets or bits or whatever you want to call them. So most of the fasteners on this use these, what is it called, ribe sockets, ribe bits, which aren't quite Torx and they're not quite triple square. They're these kind of 2, 4, 6 point drive flange flippers, you know. So the sump plug is an M9 from the looks of it. So we'll see if we can crack that one off without stripping it and turning it into something else. So I'm going to whack that pretty far in there, so she should be, oh look at that, not a problem, not a problem. I'll never get that bit out again, but you know, not a problem. Nice bit of sealant on there. You don't want it to leak, do you? Because this thing isn't leaky enough already. Let's see what comes out of here. Could be worse looking. Is there a rope magnet on there? No, that's pretty grim. Definitely due. Right, so next up we need to figure out what kind of oil we're going to put back in here. Now, on this handy wee plaque on here, under engine oil, it says an API SJ, ACAA, A3-96. SAE 10W40. So 10W40, pretty standard kind of thing. But then I went and looked up on the old Penrite oil chooser. Under engine oil, he reckons a 10W60, premium 10W60, with no substitute allowed. I said, oh yeah. So I checked on the Newlon website, and that said something similar, pushing for a 1060. On the Gulf Western website, there are 3 local oil brands, 10W60. So I thought, tell you what, let's check in the manual. So I grabbed the manual. I've got the manual, which is, the car came with a full manual. I thought we'll have a wee read through the manual, and it's not overly helpful because it's all in Japanese, because this is a Japanese car. So, yeah. Oh, what's that? Oh no. Oh yeah. It's quite economical apparently. I can figure that out. Litres per 100 kilometres. Oh, here we go. 10W40, it says in the manual. I did figure it out from the manual. So, what have I got in stock? Well, I've got a semi-synthetic 10W40, which is fine for this. It's what is it? Yeah, it's got some numbers that seem to lie up. ACAE-A3, yep. Also an SN, so it's a better spec oil. So we could use that. Well, I've also got some HBR10, which is a 10W50, which full zinc. What is it? It's got an ACAA number. It's an SN. Oh yeah, we'll go with this. We'll go with this. I'm going with this. Closer to a 1060. It's an SN. It's a decent oil. So yeah, we'll go with this because that's what I got. I'll be happy using the 1040, but apparently it needs a 1060. I don't have any 1060. Right, so our sump plug actually already had a washer on it, so I don't know why it was covered in sealant too, so we'll replace it. I've got a choice, I put a copper one on, or use one of my new favourite things, Doughty washers, which are kind of a bonded, impregnated seal, and should do the job nicely. It's oil and fuel and whatever stable, so, and pressure rate and all that, so one of those should do the job. Means we don't need goop on goop. We'll jam it on. Plenty tight enough. Right, get that oil out of the way. I'll never be able to get that out ever. There we go, ribe socket for the win. Well, so here's our undercarriage. It's all pretty oily. We're going to give this a good jet wash at some point, but gearbox is covered in oil. Sump and half the engine block's covered in oil. More oil up there. Oil filter looks pretty ancient. Looks about 46,000 k's old, to be fair. Looks like it came from Noah's door-to-door part sales. So yeah, that's got a Ryco filter on, a Z690. We're going to swap that out for something different. Not very tight, which is good. Still spilt out on the floor. Yeah, oil filters shouldn't ever look that old and crusty when you take them off. There we go. There's a date on it, 16/11/09. Yeah, she's an oldie. Well, I guess it was doing its job. Maybe. Alright, so here's our new filter. It's a Bosch one that wasn't made in 2009. Looks Looks about right, eh? Spin her on. Crank it down as hard as we can. Oh wait, no, just there. Right, so a bit of a bonus on an oil change video. Given how much oil's all over the transmission, I figured I'd check the transmission level, gearbox level, whatever we call it. Just clean up the plug before we put a load of junk in there. Again, it's a ribe socket, it's an M13 ribe. Ribe, solid ribe. Got the lights on so you can't see anything. I had pre-loosened it, by the way. Wasn't overly tight. Apparently had a new clutch at some point. That's pretty dry there, isn't it? Right, so for this we're going with Penrite trans gear. You can't see, 7590 semi-synthetic. That's not what the selector told me to use. This isn't working at all. Right, plan Z. Right, we've upgraded to a wee oil pump. These tubes tend to get a bit hard over time. It's a wee bit low. 200 mil. Might be taking that gearbox off to reseal it. It's at 300 mil. 2 litre capacity, so could be worse, could be better, but could be worse. There we go. Oh, let's stab some more juice in there. One of these big mouth funnels. Sure, it's got plenty of nicknames out there. I'm not going to say any. You're welcome to come up with one. HPR 10 full synthetic with the extra 10 technology, full zinc, double layer protection, proudly Australian owned since 1926. It's about the same time this car had an oil change. Yeah. 4.4 litres we want in there. A bit more. Wee bit more. Wee bit more. That's probably good enough. That's over 4 litres. Spark her up. Check the dipstick, then we'll spark her up. Got a weird dipstick, eh? Big kind of springy dingy flim flam jim jam. Way overfilled. Good. Right, start her up. Yeah, it was a wee bit noisy, as expected. You notice a bit of the odd idle there, rough idle. These have got a oil pressure base variable valve setup, big spring and a thing on the end of the camshaft. So one thing I had noticed with this, because it hadn't been used for a long time before I picked it up, was it's a bit rough on cold starts. It's kind of freed up a wee bit since I've been driving it when I shouldn't have been, but yeah, it should start and idle and run a whole lot better with some fresh oil in it. So here's the oil we drained. It's still got some viscosity, not as much as you probably want, but yeah, still oil-like. Let's drain it out the pan, see if we get any nasties in the bottom. So no sparkly bits of the pan, which is always a good start, especially when we've seem to have been that long without an oil change. So yeah, no harm done maybe. Bit windy out there. So yeah, this looks like it's gone a little way over its service interval. Technically, service interval on an Alfa Romeo 156 is 20,000 kilometres, so this could be up to 56,000 kilometres without an oil change. I don't believe that. It's definitely been serviced at some point, but the last sticker we got, 2015, 127,000 Ks it was due. So yeah, but the oil that came out didn't look too bad. We put some nice new full synthetic Penrite stuff in there, nice new Bosch filter. We'll well on it a bit and do a short service interval, and yeah, hopefully get it nice and clean. I'm guessing the idle will improve with the whole variable valve Italian VTEC system when that's all happy. About to change the spark plugs, about to do the rest of the service. You'll see that in the next video, but that was just our way overdue oil change on our 98 Alfa Romeo 156 2-litre twin spark. So this is a new project car. I've got a few things happening with it soon. Until then, we'll see you next time. Cheers.